Got the sprayer hooked up to the 3-point today, and thought we'd give it out a test run. This is going to be with just plain water, and this is the first time I've turned it on, so I'm going to be wiring it up and adding probably about 5 gallons of water just to test out the nozzles and the spray gun, make sure everything's working correctly. Okay, well, this is the wiring harness that it shipped with. You can see it's got some alligator clips, positive, negative. It's got a built-in fuse. I believe this is a 15, oops, fuse popped out. There's the standard automotive type fuse, easy to replace. This is a 15 amp fuse in line, so it's easy to get to and easy to replace. A little waterproof housing. We run down to the switch. Pretty basic, nothing fancy. Trying to read on the side there, I don't see any markings relevant, like an amperage or anything like that. But the other end is just a simple SAE connector. So you can actually buy these connectors online, eBay. Like they use them for motorcycles and other types of equipment. So they're pretty common. So if you want to make your own rig, you don't really have to change this output right here at all. You can just get another one of these and make your own wire however you like. I think I'm going to end up doing a custom wire because I'd like to have a built-in switch that can be used for other 12 volt stuff. So I believe what I'm going to do is put a plug on the back of the tractor and just have a hardwired switch for this. But to test it out, we're just going to go ahead and do the alligator clips. So, all right, here we go. Battery's located straight down there. What you want to do is just get positive to positive, negative to negative. Very simple. Take the boot off the 12 volt. Go ahead and plug that in. I'm just going to connect it to the shaft of the battery connector. And do the same with the negative. Alright. So this wire ideally needs to be run back out of the way here, but I'm just going to hang it out the side here temporarily. And I'm actually not sure it's going to be long enough. So let's see here. Leave that open. Well, turns out it's actually not long enough. So let's through this way. Let's see how far. Right. Get that running all the way back to the seat, and we are approximately 2 feet short. Can you believe it? Yeah, so that's the span we gotta cross over there. Unless I could find another place to jump off the clips somewhere that's got 12 volt that I can attach to. And I don't feel like going and spelunking right now, so I may go look for just another piece of wire that I can very quickly splice into this, and we'll get it going. A little bit unfortunate there. I would have expected a little bit longer wire, but well. Second thought.
Well, the audio got a little hard to hear here, so I thought I'd just do a quicker voiceover. The cigarette lighter plug on the tractor, I had completely forgotten about it, but it's a 12 volt source, obviously. So what I'm planning to do here is actually find a cigarette lighter adapter. I think I've got one in my garage.
Well, it turns out I had one of these in the garage. This is
here we go. So
I bought some of these probably about a year ago for another project, but I was going to test these out to make sure they were the same size as the factory supplied cable. So here's the end of the Fimco connector that was sent. Here's the adapter. Looks like there's a missing piece of metal inside there, but let's try that out. It looks like it fits perfectly. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut one end off of this. I'll just cut it in half, and what I'm going to do is put an Anderson power pole connector. And I'm into ham radio, so we use these a lot for 12 volt DC connectors. They're super handy. You've probably seen them before in the larger sizes, like the 50 amp. They use them for winches and those kind of things. But these are the 15, 20 amp small ones, used for a lot of different things. I actually had pre-made this cable for something else, but it's a 12 volt to Anderson power pole cigarette adapter. So what I'm going to do is make a wire that's this on one end, Anderson power pole on the other. There we go, out of the cigarette lighter into a power pole. And temporarily what I'm going to do is I found this wire just down in my, this is just for testing purposes, but I had one of these down in my ham kit. Alright, so that's the power pole, and they have the correct, and they just snap into each other right here. So red to red, black to black, boom. Okay, I now have, be careful here, you got a live connection, but that's 12 volt right there. So what I'm going to do is just put the alligator clips on this end right here, and we'll get this sprayer pump working on that basis. So battery clips, so I'm going to take battery clip, connect it on there. Let's see if we can get a good connection there. Alright, so here we go. Plug that up, and we'll find a routing for the wire here that makes sense. Probably somewhere down like this, where it's out of the way, and alongside into the tractor there, along the 3-point connector. We'll get the excess wire taken up. There we go. Plugs in all the way. Action. Okay. Let's put some water in here. Screw this nozzle. Clean this up a little bit. We're rinsing this out of this tank out pretty good.
Alright, well, we got about 5 to 8 gallons in there. It's a few inches of water above the intake, so it should be good to go.
Controls. And can't really read it on here, but off is in this direction. So to turn on the boom, this is the boom. This is the pressure adjustment. This recirculates back into the tank. And this is for the handgun, for the sprayer. Okay, off is this way. I want to leave that on. So what should happen is pump sucks up through here, water's coming in, hitting this, and then going back into the tank. So it should recirculate, and the boom's off so it won't spray. This is off because I'm not pulling the trigger, so everything should dump back into the tank. And then we'll take a look at the PSI.
Alright, well, I apologize. The audio in here is a little bit tough to hear. We've got a pressure washer running in the background, which I couldn't quite edit out of the audio, and there's just a fair bit of background noise. So apologize for that. I've tried to adjust the levels, but wasn't quite successful with that. So I've turned it down. You might need to turn it down just a little bit more, and there's probably about a 30-45 second section here where I thought I'd leave the video in instead of cutting it out, in the interest of you might want to see it, but just be warned that the audio is a little shoddy. So.
Pressure cutoff switch inside. I'm not allowing it to recirculate. The pump does shut down, so we're running about 60. Take a little bit of bleed off there. Coming in. I'm going to adjust the nozzle tip here. Alright, so we're going to adjust this tip a little bit to where it's more of a stream. The pump is shutting off the trigger. Which is kind of nice. I like that. Let's see how far it'll go. Okay, that's all the way open. There's a spray stream. So let's just open this valve a little bit. Just the pressure down. So get about 20. It's a nice light stream. Higher pressure. I'm actually going to turn the tractor on. I don't think this is pulling enough power to drain that battery, but just get the alternator in action here. Okay. There we go. Let it run off the alternator instead of the battery. That's a pretty good spray. Not super high pressure. I mean, not something you'd want to wash your car with, but it definitely get a chemical or spray out there without a problem. I suppose you could do a little bit of that, but definitely not a pressure washer. Okay, that's excellent. There's no leaks I can see. Everything looks solid. I'm going to turn on the boom. Test here. Go. Pump is almost out of the water. This is how much is left of the pump you get here.
The audio track here is a little tough too, so what I'm talking about in the background is the fact that the intake for the pump is actually elevated. It's not at the lowest point in the tank, so there's a fair bit of excess water in the tank even when the pump starts operating, which I thought was a little strange, you know, just from a design perspective. If there's one thing I didn't like about this sprayer. It's that fact that I would have expected it to be, the intake to be at the lowest point of the tank, just so you can get everything out of there. But there may be a good reason for that I just don't understand yet, but it just seemed like you'd have to drain a lot of chemical after you finish spraying.
Yeah, with that much excess chemical, if you've got 2,4-D or something in there, you know, what do you do with it? You gotta dispose of it somewhere. I mean, I guess you could put it in a hand sprayer and get rid of it, but certainly don't want to dump all that. But overall, it's looking good. We just had this one area where it was leaking. We got that fixed. One notation on the installation, you might want to put it where these are headed back that way. Might make those a little easier to maintain. Not a big deal. I did pinch this hose. You gotta be kind of careful that hose doesn't get pinched. It might make sense to route these on the bottom for that reason. A fairly tight fit there. But what happens is when you close this up, notice that that's actually caught right there. So you don't want to even do it on the bottom. You really just want it just on the front. Just on the front like that. That way it'll just fold. Yeah, that's got to be the way to do it. Okay, so that, just route them like that right there. And then they turn in and they're good to go. Okay, well, looks like we've drained all the water out. I've got it on a slight incline, so it's actually leaning towards the drain spout. And it looks like there's just a little bit of water left in there. Didn't quite get it all out. And then my plan is just to loosely put the top on so you don't get new water in, but it can breathe a little bit. Also noticed right here, this looks like a breather hole. Not sure if that's what the intent is or not, but just a small little hole. Looks like it goes straight on through, let some air in to the tank. I'm guessing that's what it is. Looks like this would actually let a little bit of air in as well, so it doesn't create a vacuum. There we go. Alright, well, that's the first test run of the Fimco. Fimco 40 gallon. Guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll undo this monstrosity of wiring, and we'll get something permanent wired up in a future video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe and thumbs up if you like what you see. Really appreciate you guys' feedback as well, so leave me a comment. Be glad to get back with you.